Yeah.
Defueling, I guess. Refueling is done by hand. Defueling is done with shielded container.
Well, let's say we want to change the rod. You don't need to change the rod because it's burn up. You change the rod to see how it's doing, because we never went to any significant burn up here in this reactor. But we were quite often reloading and changing loads. We had some plutonium. We had a plutonium core in this thing too once. I don't think anyone else remember that either. Here's a plutonium reactor. We actually run the power. We run the steam plant from. Oh, and by the way, that picture where I'm in that picture with the light bulbs.
Yeah.
That's not the original light bulbs. That's the lighting, the first atomic energy from plutonium. It's from plutonium, not the 4 is the real ones. That's the real ones. But the one you see, well, the one where I'm in the picture,
that was from the
that's plutonium.
We still have that one from then, from the plutonium
okay.
go round.
Oh, okay. Okay, now to reload or to change the fuel element, there's 60 some of them in there. You take the top off the reactor. There's an argon blanket between you and the core itself. You can see the top of the rods. They have a physical characteristic on top where you can latch onto them with a gripper. And you can get a hold of it and you pull it up. You don't want to pull it too high, but it's 9 feet long. You just pull it up far enough. Now here's a coffin that's going to be loaded. It's going to be loaded into it, and you drop a cable. It's not there. Down through it. There was argon gas if you wanted. We never used the argon gas, and the cable would stick out at the bottom, and you'd use the building crane. It'd be suspended over the top of the reactor, maybe a couple of feet. You can get that device out from the one that has the clamp on it, hook it onto the top of the control of the rod, fix it up tight, and then move this over the top of the fuel element and lower it down to where it's just right flush with the top of the reactor structures, the concrete. And then we would climb up on the edge there because we didn't want to radiate our feet and crank the thing up. This is where the new fuel and even some of the old fuel was stored when it came in originally. Now you notice that the rods are hanging there and they're spaced. And they were very concerned about the spacing. You don't want them too tight together. Also, there's a chance that you don't want them too far apart, because if you walk in there, you become the moderator. And so we were getting lectures somewhat about, well, don't get them too close together, but don't have the assumption that just being spaced is good enough. Fermi knew all about that. Modern reactors that are going to power, they have enough residual heat you can't store them in a hole in the floor like this. Ours never got to high enough burn up, but we could store radiated fuel elements that had experiments in them. We could store them in these, they're just pipes that go into the floor, that's all they are. And then this was a remote cave in which we were able to take them out and work on them, slit them open or do repair or put special experiments together. Let's see, you can still see it, can you? Or no lights, huh?
No, you can kind of gaze in a little bit, but not very well.
I did work on this thing. We had more than one fire happen in here, but we'd use these plugs here and put fire extinguishers in them, and it never got out of hand. There's no problem. These windows are not original, at least not the outer part, because we had a little welding splatter on one, but you can't see. But anyway, that's with the manipulators. Oh wow. Manipulators are
Disabled.
totally disabled. The hand parts are even missing. And we could move them in and out as well as.
So how would you transfer the materials into the hot cell?
There's a little coffin here, and I'm trying to think. We bring we'd take them out of here to put them in here. Generally, they're cold enough that you could handle them more or less directly. This door was opened with a crane. You see the crane goes over the top. And we never had to get a coffin inside. We always dealt with the rods more or less, maybe with a manipulator, but at a distance. But we didn't have any real problem dealing with highly radioactive rods. Now these holes in the floor here correspond to the washroom downstairs. And downstairs, when you take a fuel element out of the reactor, it's dripping with sodium. Bring it over here with a coffin, lower it down in that hole down there, and we'd alternately wash it with water and alcohol. And we had fires down there too, but they never were bad.
They tell us since it was an alcohol acetone mixture, but it was alcohol and water?
Supposedly, if you dip sodium in alcohol, it's not supposed to burn, but it sometimes did. And we had fire extinguishers down there as well. Whatever residual there was, when we got to the water, it'd snap and crackle and pop and smolder. But now I'll tell you a little bit about the recovery of EBR-I. When we finally were able to get into the reactor, up on top, we constructed a temporary cave with some big concrete blocks like 2 feet by 3 feet by 5, stacked them and actually built and took one of the windows, borrowed one of the windows from downstairs, put in there so we could look in, used canvas for the top of it to keep it, and put a argon blanket system to keep it inert inside with excess argon. But you pull the whole reactor core up out of the reactor as a unit. And I remember it coming into view for the first time, scared it was going to burn. And the crane's cables have to go past through that canvas. But we just meshed them pretty tight together, and then with an argon system pulling a vacuum on it, we felt we were not contaminating anything. And pulled it up, and then we were able to see for the first time the outer, the whole bundle is only about this big. The outer rods were able to break off. We cut the top off with a mechanical power hacksaw, and even the bottom. We were able to break away the outer rods as more or less as units. There's even some blanket rods. Well, there's an inner blanket and outer blanket. Inner blanket. The inner blanket is natural uranium, so the inner blanket rods came off pretty much intact. I don't think we had any of those that could not be removed. And some of the fuel itself, some of the fuel rods themselves came off in pieces. But as you got closer to the center of the reactor, it would take on the look of just a big clinker. It's the one that's in the book. You saw the picture of it. Okay, that was 35 kilograms. That's what we had, 35 kilograms of enriched uranium in one chunk. Now, you probably don't know what that really means. You can make a bomb on a lot less than 35 kilograms. See, what I should qualify what I said. It's not easy to make a bomb. You cannot make a bomb by just stacking uranium together. You got to have a lot more tricks than that. But I can say you can make a bomb with a lot less than 35 kilograms. You can make get a reaction on in perfect ideal conditions with less than 2 kilograms. And that can be a radiation event that get national news. But okay, we got 35 kilograms. What are we going to do with it? I built the coffin that shipped it out of here. And it was a very carefully built coffin. It was only about this high. We used a cadmium spider around it. Cadmium is a strong poison of neutrons. And it's sealed tight, so even if in shipment, if it had fallen off in a river with lots of moderator, it would not go critical.
Now, but poison, it's talking about poison for nuclear reaction. Not
Right.
Yes.
That's usually what that's
Yeah.
not what the control rods were built out of, is the cadmium?
No, there's no cadmium in this reactor.
Oh, okay.
See, the rods themselves, see, you can find cadmium in water reactors and hafnium and other kinds of things. But cadmium don't do much with fast neutrons. Fast neutrons are hard to deal with. And this whole reactor is built around the kinetics of the fast reaction, not the thermal reaction. So you see, this reactor went critical with about 50 kilograms of uranium, highly enriched, bomb-grade uranium. You go out to a nuclear power plant, that's putting out 1,000 megawatts, and it's only got about 6% enrichment, and it doesn't have as many kilograms in it as this reactor had. I'm not quite sure how many kilograms total if you put it all together, but it's not highly enriched. It's maybe like 10% enriched. See, the Iranians insisting they're only enriching to make reactors. So how come they're making so many centrifuges to do more enrichment? Because it looks like they're trying to make a bomb. It sure looks like it.
Okay.
See, if they would stop off at, say, 6% or 10%, we could believe them. But they don't seem to be showing any signs or proof of it. So anyway, we shipped that off to Chicago. And I'd like to know, but I do have no idea what they did with it.
So all we really know is that it got shipped off site somewhere.
Got shipped to Chicago.
And that's it.
And I have no doubt probably had to find some way to break it apart or cut it apart. What they did, I don't know. It'd be hard to ship 35 kilograms of uranium today. It wasn't a big problem then. Why is it now? Well, okay. So do you go downstairs, or is it part of your tour?
Generally, no, we don't.
Okay.
Just because we really don't know a whole lot about it.
Okay, you've been down there before, though, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay, you know the hydraulic ram and the cup and that stuff is visible down there. And the pumps, sodium pumps, are under the floor right underneath this area right over here. Don't know what's there now. And the fire alarm system is right along this side here. And I don't know what that's all about. That wasn't here in my time.
That's for kids to play with.
Oh, is it?
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
It's just replicas of manipulators later on.
Okay. Would you like to know what's down there?
Sure.
Can you go down? I guess this is locked, huh? If you look in there, you would see the blower for the coolant for the outer blanket, the cup, what we call it. And this is that washroom, and a lead door could allow you to get in it. And here's where you do the washing. You get up here. I don't suppose you could see anything that was up there, but anyway, there's where you could lower the rods down from up above, and we'd have big tubes with the water and the alcohol in them. Now this hole right here allows you to get underneath the reactor structure. See, you got the reactor core is up there, main floor, but the outer blanket, when it was down, was about this level, and the controls for it is one further down than that. And I did lots of work down in this hole here. And when we first cranked up, I even went down there when the reactor was operating. Next thing I come by and they got to put this additional shielding on here, say don't go down there. And you can't see it here, but there's where you'd see the outer blanket setting on a support mechanism, and here's the hydraulics that ran it over here. And you remember that long handle for yanking from the ceiling? Here's the other end of it right here. Did you know that? I did not know that. Okay, you see it's a valve is what it is. It releases the hydraulic pressure underneath the reactor hoist itself. And we had a mechanism for taking the outer blanket and moving it into this area here for work to work on it. And you can see there, huh? Now you can see that door comes down from up there. And you see here's some radiation measurements on the wall. Someone has chalked health physicists. Here's the controls for the manipulations of actions that took place in that side. Now if you could look right in here, below the floor is the gravity tank, that's the bottom storage tank for the primary system. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we had one little accident there. Kirby Whittam was drilling a hole into the pipe where he told there was nothing inside it, and when the drill poked through, it shot out smack, and it hit him on his cover holes. And he quickly peeled his clothes. He came out of here almost naked. Yeah. With a lot of jokes about that.
We know this guy?
That's Jerry Cockrell. He's in that picture upstairs. Now back in this area here is the secondary storage tank. Oh, you can't even see it, but there's a second door there. And on the left would be the tanks that were kept the sodium, the inventory for the secondary system, and also a mechanical pump. And this, well, if you lift this up, you could get back into this area over here. It's a pretty good sized tank back in there. So that's what's down here. We ought to crank this thing up again, hadn't we?
You guys really slide down these stairs, these rails?
Oh yeah, Milton King did it all the time. I don't think I ever did. In several places around the reactor there's a port where you put your instrumentation in there, and these are the preamplifiers to feed the instrumentation upstairs.
Did you have those?
I never had anything to do with them.
Did they exist there?
No. A monitor, air monitor system.
Have you seen this yet?
No, let's see what you got here.
This is all dedicated to EBR-II. So they actually just opened this right before Memorial Day.
Oh, okay.
They modified your office and didn't ask for me.
Well, I'll say.
There's that picture again.
It's J.D. Bassett, kind of a ag manager. That's Len Koch. There's a small chance that Len Koch might be still alive. He's quite a bit older than I am.
Which one's Fermi?
Fermi's not there. There's no Fermi here.
Enrico Fermi, Walter Zinn, and Cole.
I don't think it's... No, that can't be. That's got to be a mistake. Because Fermi was dead by the time that Bassett was here. I never met him.
This one was just from when they got the plaque in '66. Was he alive then?
No, he was not.
I wonder who that is then.
No, that can't be Fermi. See, J.D. Bassett was a pretty late comer in my book.